Russia is trying to freeze Ukraine into submission this winter. Millions remain without electricity and heating following a devastating series of Russian attacks against the country's energy infrastructure. Now, we've just seen those satellite pictures of this unusually large build-up of bombers and cruise missiles being amassed there by Russia. What do you think that Russia's plan for them could be? Russian President Vladimir Putin says Moscow will have to reach an agreement with Ukraine at some point, but is wary after the breakdown of the Minsk agreements. So NATO has really doubled down on this commitment to one day include Ukraine in its military alliance. Now, that's a pledge that helped Russia launch this war in February. So how might the Kremlin see or react to this recommitment? That now allows the country to permanently host Russian forces as well as nuclear weapons. Despite that, Lukashenko is adamant he has no plans to send his troops into the conflict.
Once again, I want to stress we are not getting involved in this operation Russia is conducting in Ukraine.
We're going live now to Washington, D.C., where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is about to make a speech to a joint session of Congress. It's a standing ovation for him, waiting for his words. Let's listen in.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, Zelensky made a point of saying that it isn't just a fight between Ukraine and Russia, that this is a global fight and that the funding is a very good investment for the world. Was that a good message for him to send there?
Yeah, I mean, just briefly negatively, that's what Putin's been saying all along. So it feeds into Putin's propaganda messages about how this is really a fight between Russia and NATO and not about Ukraine. But it was incredibly effective for an American audience.
So why doesn't NATO want to get involved now? Essentially, Western powers fear it could lead to direct military conflict with Russia, even escalate the battle in Ukraine into a wider European war with the nuclear superpower. And Putin confirms that.
Any move towards a no-fly zone over Ukraine will be viewed by us as participation in the armed conflict by whichever side poses a threat to our service members.
NATO says it will step up its protection of Ukraine's neighbouring countries, who fear they may be Russia's next targets. And this may give some insight into how Russia plans to control these areas long term. Ukrainian officials in Mariupol say Russia has cancelled school holidays to prepare pupils to switch to a Russian curriculum. They also say Moscow is planning to hold a referendum to determine whether the city will join Russia. They have no faith it will be a fair vote.